everybody, and welcome back to the Board YouTube channel for more Pick and Roll. This is the NBA discussion and betting show that goes live every weekday in the morning around 11:15, 11:20 a.m. Eastern Time, where Pips joins me for all of that stuff. Pips will also be joining me tomorrow just to preview you guys for a trade deadline watch along on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. I'll put the link to the Hammer HQ YouTube channel in the comment section right now on YouTube for you to check out. You can also type in just the Hammer HQ. It'll pop up for you on YouTube. But we'll be covering the trade deadline from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This list is not finalized for guests, but Pips should be joining me from 3 to 4 p.m. I should have Josh Goodwin of Raptors Digest, a prominent Raptors community on YouTube, joining me as well for around 2:33. And we're looking to add in one more guest as well. But more confirmation of that later. We hope to see you at that live watch along, interact with the chat. But we're here today for some NBA betting topics for tonight, as well as later on we'll talk about LeBron James, his historic night today, and the trade deadline. We'll preview that stream a little bit later on today. But before we do that, we have to start with a recap as always. Unfortunately, another tough night. It is another 0-2 night to start off the week. We had two plays in the same game here, and the Pelicans just run away with this one in the end. DeAndre Hunter, I last time I checked, he was 0-9 from the field, so it comes nowhere close to the points here. And Capella is 2 rebounds away, gets pulled late on the game. I would suspect as the Hawks were chasing the game and needed to pile up on points. Pips, what are your thoughts on this game and these two plays?
Yeah, difficult to have like this kind of run. Like Capella was on pace to hit, and he played 30 seconds in the fourth quarter. Nothing to say about it. He just didn't get the minutes, which is like the case for last couple of days. The other Hunter got the shots I wanted him to get. I expected him to get. All 5 threes were wide open bricks. Then he had some layups missed. Then he had some turnovers on going to the wide open layup, dropped the ball. He had some he got hit in the head in the first half and got had some issues with blood. Went to the locker room, lost 6 minutes there. I think he played like 11 first half minutes due to that problem. Came back, never looked like this is the worst game of his career. I mean, I watch the Hawks a lot. He's I actually a huge fan of him, but yeah, not much to say there.
Yeah, tough one to eat on both of these here. I'm sure a lot of work's been put in to try to turn this week around. Tough stretch as well for the picks in the show. Like I said, hopefully a lot of work's been put in and get these back on track. And with 3 picks that we're going to go to today, hopefully to do that. And we'll start off with a game involving the Rockets. Pips' Rockets take it on the Sacramento Kings. This is one that if you plan on betting, Pips wants you to get it quickly, and that is a Jalen Green over on points.
So yeah, this is moving. This was widely available like 30 minutes ago, but it's only now minus 120 at BetMGM. So we are betting Jalen Green over 22.5 points. So the interesting part is the Rockets and the Kings played. This is their 4th game in the last month. And the first 3 games they played, Jalen Green scored 26, 27, and 27 points. The last 27 points was just 2 days ago. His second game coming back from the injury, and he looked great, which is like important for Jalen Green. Also, they're playing at home where he performs way better than away, like one of the craziest. Like, can you look at the splits? It's amazing that it's like that. Also, all 3 games he took 21 or more field goal attempts, and whenever he gets 20 or more, he covers this line in 13 out of the 15 this season. Still no Kevin Porter Jr. Şengün doesn't have any advantage against the Sabonis. So, and Kevin Huerter, De'Aaron Fox can't guard Jalen Green. Fox is not good enough, and Huerter is better than Fox, but he can just catch up on his quickness. Jalen is just so quick and like crazy fast. And the last game he scored even in a huge blowout. He played only 32 minutes. He usually plays 36, 37. So even in a bit lower minutes, he easily covered this line in 3 quarters. He also had some terrible start. Like he started 1 from 8 in the first quarter, missed 2 layups, two wide open threes. So I was like, okay, Jalen may be broken, and then he just like ended the game like shooting like I don't know, it was like 10 or out of 12 shots, and the Rockets played way better in the second half. Jalen Green scored, I think it was 20 points in the second half, and Alperen Şengün had 6 out of his 7 assists in the second half. So we're playing better basketball in the second half, and I hope they can start this way of playing from the first minute tonight.
Yeah, so Jalen Green's a guy. I mean, I don't think you're a massive fan of the way he plays, but he's definitely going to shoot a ton here in this
Yeah.
matchup. So on the points, if he's heading to shots as he normally does, then this should be one that he covers, especially in a favorable matchup, as you alluded to. Let's move now into the second play. We're going to the Pistons game that are taking on the Cavaliers. Two Cavaliers on here. One of them, we got Ricky Rubio back from India. Rubio's actually one of my favorite non-Raptors players in the league. But here, take it away.
So we are betting Jalen Green over 12 and a half. Jared Allen, sorry.
Yes.
Jared Allen over 12 and a half points combined with Ricky Rubio 3 or more assists, which is minus 120 at DraftKings. So first off, I would just like to talk about the Jared Allen. Jared Allen in the last 10 games with 28 or more minutes covered this line in 9. So he's just getting with the Donovan Mitchell struggling, his usage is a bit down and his assist went up. So Ricky Rubio, Darius Garland, and Donovan Mitchell having all assists in their hands and creation just opens up the game for very well for Jared Allen. In the last 3 games, he had 18 points against the Memphis, 18 points against the Pacers, and 23 points against the Wizards. So 18, 18, and 23 in the last 3. And interesting part is all 3 games were blowouts, and he played 38 minutes, 30 minutes, and 37 minutes. So with huge spread tonight, I think it's great to see that he played big minutes in even in blowouts. Also, interesting part about this bet is DeAndre. I watched the game Phoenix Suns played against the Pistons, and Ayton scored 31 points in a blowout, and Chris Paul had 14 assists. They can show Duran is a great potential, but when he's playing at the 5, they often blitz the pick and roll. Like they were heavily on Chris Paul, and on pick and rolls he kind of can get lost. So Ayton had like 15 easy points, like dunks, layups, wide open, like no one even close to him inside, and lobs and everything. And with Rubio, Mitchell, and Garland all being able to throw that pass and to create, and both Garland and Mitchell being a real threat here, I think Pistons defense, they kind of focus on them. Also, very interesting comparison, I would say, is Kyrie Irving and Nicholas Claxton, because they were heavily into Kyrie Irving, and Claxton scored 27 points. And I would say like it's similar, like just layups and dunks for both. And yeah.
And comment here by Aaron says Garland Mitchell were just listed as questionable. Yeah, 2 minutes ago. So this was probably some very good timing here. Get that one in while you can, in case there's any movement on that one, because that will definitely help this wager, especially for Rubio.
Didn't expect that. It's just 2 minutes ago, and yeah. So it's I think it's down now. If they are least questionable, this play is probably down, and for everyone that took it, that had time to took it, I think this is now getting even more value. but people that didn't watch it live probably won't have the chance to take it. But people that watched it had a chance because the news came just 2 minutes ago, and we started talking about this bet 3 minutes ago. So we had, I think a lot of people had a chance to get it. And if either one of these outs, Rubio assist will go way up, and Jared Allen scoring will way up.
So apologies to the people that don't watch it live. I know some people they generally just cannot watch live. We apologize for that, but happy for the people that are here watching live. You guys are rewarded for the support on the show, so appreciate that. They might play, so this might be for nothing. But if they don't play, this is a home run play that we got in here just in the nick of time. So let's move now into the third play here. We'll go to the Pacers and Heat game. I think this is the most bet on prop in same game parlays that we have had on this show all season. Buddy Hield on the threes, and we are pairing him with Tyler Hero on the points. But some bit of negative history with Hero on this show, if I remember correctly, but a lot of positivity with Hield. But let's see the handicap on this one.
So I will just say that I don't have the graphs for this. This didn't send you graph, but if I did, it would be very cool to see, especially the Buddy Hield one, because it was amazing that he covered this line in 40 out of 47 games this season. So that's almost 90% clear rate on this line.
It's pretty good.
And that's with 25 minutes or more, and he'll get 35 minutes tonight. So if you just look at the game there, he played 30 or 32 or more minutes, it will be even crazier. So, and he is now playing against the team that allow third most threes to the wings, and the way the Miami Heat is defending is often just switching or hedging the screens or trapping the ball handler with Adebayo because he's so quick and can move very well for a big, and that opens up a ton of threes on the 45-degree or corner threes, and also it's Buddy Hield. He can, in the most difficult matchup, he can clear this line because the way he shoots the ball, it's just crazy. I would say he's top 5 shooters in the league for every season almost over the last couple of years.
Top
but
5.
But
top
this
3,
season he could be even the best this season.
Yeah,
because 43% on the threes, and the way 3.8 average a game on 43%. And the way of difficulty on his threes is unbelievable. So he can cover this line even in some tough matchups, but this is the one of the best. And also, another interesting part of this bet is last 4 games against the Heat, he scored 7, 5, 3, and 7. So that's an average of 5.5 threes against the Heat over the last. So betting him over 3.5 is also great for people that can get single parlays. And the second part of this bet is Hero, and main reason for betting Hero is that he is the only guard for the Heat tonight, because Oladipo is out, Kyle Lowry is out. So we'll get probably 38 or more minutes for Tyler Hero. And when he gets these minutes, I think this line is just way too low in a very positive matchup. Very, very positive matchup against the Pacers, because Pacers on the season allowed the second most points to opposing shooting guards. And the last game they played, Hero scored 28 points with Oladipo, with Lowry, with Adebayo, and with Butler playing. So everyone was healthy, everyone was playing, and he scored 28. And we have tonight great spot for him.
Yeah, some of the chat here, they recall some previous plays that involved Tyler Hero. We've spoken about putting people on the ban list and how I thought you wouldn't, but only DeRozan has ever been on your ban list. And I'm not saying that he doesn't cover here. Then, that's somebody that should be on a ban list or anything like that. But the handicap makes sense. Hopefully makes sense to people watching here. I'm sure they're not serious as well.
Yeah, I'm obviously against the ban list, but if you have issues with some guy, it's okay to not bet on him. That's completely okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the handicap makes sense, as I mentioned, for Tyler Hero. So that is your third official play. We'll recap all those plays a little bit later on when we wrap up the show, but a couple of discussion pieces for today. First of all, I'm in my LeBron jersey. LeBron James yesterday needed 36 points to break the NBA's all-time scoring record. I was expecting to not have him break that record, but then about 2 hours before the game, I don't know what it was. I saw him in the all black suit. I saw him with the headphones with the number on the top of the headphones, just whole demeanor throughout the pregame. And I was like, he's breaking it. Like, he's just flat out breaking. I tweeted before the game, LeBron is doing this tonight. And he got off to like a slow start the first few minutes. And then he ends up breaking it in the third quarter with a pretty trademark fadeaway jump shot over Kenrich Williams. I watched this entire game. I'm a pretty big LeBron fan, so this was very cool to see. I think if you're not a LeBron fan, like, this is incredible. Pips, I'm sure you're watching this for the LeBron moment. If you saw it live, what are your thoughts? This is such a significant moment in NBA history.
So I'll just start saying that I'm a huge Kobe fan, and Kobe was the reason that I started watching NBA, and Kobe was the reason that I'm this person that I am today. I'm like not just fan of him, but also love his mentality and everything about Kobe. So I'm like not LeBron fan, but of course I am huge LeBron fan, because I don't think anyone can be a basketball fan and not being a fan of LeBron James, because things that he did and that he's still doing is like unbelievable. Like that probably we won't see anything close to it in our entire lifetime. Of course, we can't say that for sure, but I'm like thinking that's very like slim probability for that happening ever again. Probably the same people said when about
Kareem did
the
it.
previous record, but yeah, he's just amazing, and I'm so. It sucks that they lost the game. It kind of ruined it a bit, but overall, that's huge. Like, but I also spoke about it like before that I'm more into combined
The
points
combined, which he
in
already
the
did.
regular playoffs and the regular season. That's like even bigger accomplishment. Also, playoff points scored is a bigger accomplishment for me, but like for the media, for everything, for everyone, this is huge. And yeah, I love it for LeBron, and I think fully deserved. And yeah, and the way like this wasn't an easy matchup for him, and he still delivered. And
The Thunder
yeah,
did not want him to break that record. They were defending him well.
yeah,
He was just he was locked in. It just, there's some players in
yeah.
among all sports that, like, if they
But
just really
but
want that, they're gonna get it.
yeah, it all just came down to does he want to break it tonight or not? Like if he
Yeah.
does, he will deliver. But I was like, maybe he like not like up Inter, but there like was another part that if he needs 5 points to break the record, everyone knows he will break it, and that's nothing huge. But if he needs 36 points to break the record and he delivers it, that's like bigger, like in the eyes of everyone. And yeah, it actually made some sense that he will go for it like heavily. He like completely zoned in, and his 3 point shooting was a bit surprised that he
Yeah.
hit almost every three that he took, which is like 30% on the season. And then in the biggest game, he scores 4 out of the 6. So it
Yeah.
was a bit of a surprise, but like when he zoned in, totally focused, he delivers. So yeah.
Yeah, with the 3 point so I was thinking this was gonna be like, not to disrespect, but like Kobe's last game, he was shooting everything, right? And rightfully so. That was such an incredible moment
Sure.
for him. I thought LeBron would be kind of similar today, or yesterday, excuse me. But he actually wasn't. He was pretty much in the rhythm of the game, and I believe he shot 13 for 20 in the end. Like, he was just on another planet, as he has been so many times in his career. And like Kenrich Williams on the shot that got the record, Williams is all over him. It was great defense. It just,
Yeah,
LeBron just wasn't missing those shots yesterday.
yeah. I mean, Kendrick is an amazing defender, and I will
Yeah.
just Yeah, he's just great, and he didn't leave him even a bit
Yeah.
of space.
Like that one, I mean, that one was like I think he was like he knew he was one shot away. He had the hot hand at that point. That was felt maybe a little bit forced, but I don't blame him at all
Yeah,
for
sure.
going for it there. So I want to put this into a bit of perspective on if anybody can break the record. So I don't like black and white statements saying this is never going to be broken, but in this case, this everybody said this about Kareem. This is never going to be broken because let's say LeBron stops playing today. He's got 38,000 points. So the next guy would have to score 2,000 points a season for 19 seasons in a row, and then they'd still have 390 to go. LeBron still has more to play as well to make that worse. And to put in perspective how difficult it is to score 2,000 points, Luka Doncic, one of the highest scoring players you've ever seen, has played 5 NBA seasons, and he is yet to accomplish scoring 2,000 points in the season one time. It's kind of cherry picking one specific player, but like somebody who's scoring that much, it may not be about the scoring, which is going to increase, but it's about playing consistently 75 plus games a season. It's going to be about being able to hit those sort of numbers for 19 years in a row just to hit where he's at today, let alone the next 2 years where he's likely going to crush like 42,000 on this one. I know you don't want to like paint it as like this will never be broken. I am prepared to say that about this record.
Yeah,
I don't think I'll ever see that. And you're saying it's very, very unlikely, but I guess anything is possible. I mean, in sports, anything is possible, especially when you're talking about gambling. Of course, anything can happen, but I don't know about this one. Staying healthy this long is just remarkable. And in the age now where, for some reason, like the load management, it's kind of strange that like 10 years ago, guys would just play every game and be fine, and now we're so focused on health. But I think that's a good thing to keep guys sharper for playoffs. But yeah, this is such an unbelievable achievement.
We can talk a bit about it, like why guys playing less games these days than it was last couple of years. Like 10 years ago or 15 years ago compared to today, like the level of the gameplay and the way the players are playing, like
The high pace.
intensity of these
Yes.
minutes that they are playing is just not on another level, and it's not the same. So yeah, it's almost impossible for players to play like 75 games a season for 20 years and averaging 25 or more points. That's like 0.0001%
Yes.
that's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, before we go into the trade stuff, if you haven't watched the Lakers much this season, you learned why the Lakers are doing so poorly despite how LeBron played because they lost the game. LeBron was excellent. He didn't finish the game because of a bit of an injury, but the Lakers can't play defense. Like OKC are on the up. They played really well since the turn of the year, since January 1st. But my goodness, the Lakers cannot play defense. And I don't want to I'm not trying to single out Russ, but I do want to talk about Westbrook here. I understand the frustration with him because he scored 27 points and he was 10 for 19 shooting. He was great, but he also had 6 turnovers, and a lot of those turnovers I could not believe he committed. And some of the takes at the rim, I know he shot 10 for 19. I don't know if it's just Russ and people are picky, and I'm kind of falling into that here, but I can see how frustrated LeBron must be with every game having that level of defense. Sometimes Russ's decision making, they could use a trade in the next 24 hours. You've obviously watched the Lakers more than me this season. This was kind of the norm for the Lakers. I think. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll say Russell Westbrook defense is like if you just try to watch some game and watch him all the time, like on defensive end, and you will be blown away with how poor he's. Like his positioning and terrible awareness, like he's just not into it anymore. That's one part. Also, LeBron is not having like defense.
That's true.
He's amazing, but he's not giving like 10% in defense.
Yeah,
this season or
that
even
that
last
makes sense.
season. So if you have them two these guys at the floor at the same time, it's just painful. Anthony
Yeah,
Davis
yeah,
is amazing defensive player, but when he is 100% healthy, and when he's not, he will give more on the offensive end than on defensive end. Rui Hachimura has issues of his own. Dennis Schroeder is average, and when you combine all that, Lonnie Walker is below average. Like I'm not a huge fan of Patrick Beverley defense. He is like we have a quote about Westbrook, and I think that works great for this. Like he's just too much talk, too much running. He can play sometimes great defense, but if you look at throughout the entire season, he is not that great. He looks great, but he is not that great that eye test shows for from time to time. And yeah, that is huge difficulty. But and you have like difficulties with shooting and defense. That's the two things that like wing defense and shooting in today's NBA. It's like you can't win without it, and they have both issues. So it's difficult for them, and I hope they can find some trade to compete in the last couple of years of LeBron career.
yeah,
It will be difficult, like disappointing to see them not making the playoffs. At least playing tournaments to see huge LeBron game in one winner takes all games, but it could happen if they don't move this. And also talking
yeah.
about other Russell Westbrook additional part, he was playing for my Rockets couple of years, and yeah,
That wasn't
I
great.
yeah, I'm not fan of his the way he plays basketball, and I never was, and I never will be. He had some amazing accomplishment during his career, but I am never fan of low IQ decision makers, and he throughout the entire career, in the last 3 minutes of the game, you don't want him on the floor. Like he just yeah. Someone said like it was an interesting comment. Like someone said like last possession, LeBron needs to score one bucket to win the game and to go to get the record. And Russell Westbrook gets the ball and shot the pull up three, and they lose the game. And LeBron is like kind of like picture when he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
J.R.
With J.R.
Smith,
Smith.
yeah, and it was amazing. I almost died of laughing, but
Because you can actually see it. You can actually see something
yeah,
like that happening.
yeah, for sure. It was so funny. And yeah, that's Russell Westbrook
I
experience,
just
and he'll try hard. He's a decent guy. He's actually a decent guy. Like, and you see him off the floor talking and the way he
oh,
acts, he's
absolutely.
actually a decent guy. Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't claim to
Just
be like anything extraordinary. He just goes out there, does his business.
yep.
But a lot of the time, some of the decision making hinders his teams, and that's kind of putting it politely. But let's move into now. We want to go through all of the key players that are going to be available for trade in the next 24 or so hours here and preview the trade deadline for you guys. We're going to take maybe a minute or two on each player that we have listed here, 11 players that we want to go through. We're going to go through the odds for them to be traded, and then we're going to talk about if we think they'll get traded, who they should go to, and why the fit over there makes sense. So, again, 11 players that we want to go to, and we're going to preview this because we are doing, once again, remind you guys, the trade deadline watch along for tomorrow. The guests have not been finalized here, but Pips will be joining me on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel. We'll be live reacting to the trades as they go down up until the 3 p.m. Eastern time deadline. And also, once it's over, after 3 p.m., we'll go through the aftermath and talk about the fits and what new teams, and go through maybe the futures odds and what should be effective, where maybe you can find some value on those lines. But let's not delay. Let's go into the list here. Like I said, a lot of players to go through, so we'll try to spend a minute or two on each one. These are not all of them are not the highest odds, but these are just players we also wanted to talk about here. For starters, the player that has been perceived as the most likely to get traded is Jay Crowder has not played at all this season, has been waiting for a trade, wants out of the Phoenix Suns. He is no longer available on the DraftKings market to be traded. Will preface as well that we do not support these DraftKings odds. I just didn't see odds anywhere else for players to get traded. We think these are too inflated and not worth betting. But just to add in some sort of thought into how likely they may be to get traded. Jay Crowder is very likely. He's off the board right now. Let's go to you, Pips. Do you think he'll get traded? Where do you think he'll end up and why?
Yes, and I think the best spot for him is Dallas.
So newly acquired Kyrie Irving. They are lacking a lot of defense. Do you think Dallas are going to be making a push to get him?
Yeah, because he's cheap, so they should go for him, and he'll make a great fit there. But I don't know if they will. But I think they should. And yeah, there are also so many teams that could use Jay Crowder, and whoever goes for him, I think Bucks could actually go for him. He will do great there. And yeah, I don't know what's happening. Like, yeah, I would say Bucks and Dallas
So
for Jay Crowder.
I think Dallas may have lost a little bit too much of their assets they want to give up to make this
Also,
happen.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
just forgot one team. It's Cleveland Cavaliers also
Yeah,
that could
yes,
use. Yeah, so that these
definitely.
three for me. Yeah.
Take out Isaac Okoro and add in Jay Crowder. I think that makes the team not considerably better, but quite a bit better. I think the most likely spot is the Milwaukee Bucks. Take out Grayson Allen from the starting lineup, add in Jay Crowder as the 4 to that team, just a guy to sit in the corner on offense, to play solid defense, to playoffs. I think this makes a lot of sense from Milwaukee perspective. Makes sense for Dallas, but most likely to get it done, in my opinion, would be the Milwaukee Bucks. There's been talks of Dwara, Ibaka, and Hill being offered with seconds, which Tuna is letting us know in chat, which I think is something that the Phoenix Suns should consider in the next day or so. Let's move into the second player here. This is OG Anunoby. I'm a Raptors fan, so I love OG. Pips is not a Raptors fan, but he loves OG. Big odds on him to get traded. Big asking price, apparently, from the Raptors. Where do you think he's going to end up and why?
First, who isn't fan of OG? Like, I don't know
exactly.
anyone that isn't, like,
exactly.
You can't not love this guy. We talk about it like a lot, and I don't know if he'll be traded, but I can see that he will be traded, and he will improve every team in the NBA, like
absolutely
by far. And I think Grizzlies should go for him. He amazing fit, but also one amazing fit that I didn't figure out until now. It's Sacramento Kings. Like, they just, like, I'm not a huge fan of them making a run with Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray on the wings, and their defense is terrible. And having a guy like OG Anunoby will improve their defense a lot, and that will be amazing. I think that will be amazing for Kings to have a guy that can defend like anyone. And because they don't have a point of attack defender and they don't have good wing defenders, so it will improve them a lot. And I think OG will be amazing in the system of Sacramento Kings offensively also, because he's a strong guy. Like, if you can, like, trying to catch him off the dribble handoff with Sabonis, good luck. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah,
way
and also,
way stronger than he looks.
yeah, he's one of the strongest guys in the league. Like, he's amazing, and I just love the fit with Kings. And I think Kings have a lot of players on the roster that aren't even playing. They can, like, this is the time to offer draft capital. Like, they are the best they've been over the last 20 years. And yeah, I just think this could work. Like, this trade will work. I don't think anyone thought of this bet, like, I didn't see anyone, like, and this makes sense.
I love that fit there. I think that makes a lot of sense. My prediction here might be a hot take, but I think that Masai Ujiri, Raptors president, Bobby Webster, Raptors GM, are going to ask for a king's ransom for OG. I think they try to get too much and end up keeping him. That's My prediction as a Raptors fan looking at this, I think they covet OG. They love OG. They're going to try to do everything they can to keep him unless they get an offer that blows them away. I just don't think any team's going to offer that at the deadline.
Question: would you accept, like, what would you want from the Knicks?
The Knicks, they'd have to give the draft picks they have are not good. They'd have to give 3 of their first round picks to do this. Along with that, you'd probably have to get a decent young player if they're willing to give one up. I don't know if Grimes might be a little bit too far. Maybe somebody like Obi Toppin coming into the Raptors. I think the Raptors could do some good things with him if he gets more minutes. But like even at that point, OG would have to expressly say he wants to leave for me to take something like that. But if he genuinely wants out, wants a bigger role, which we've talked about, then something along those lines of 3 not great first round picks and like a young player and salary filler is like the minimum I think the Raptors could take.
I think Knicks have a lot to offer. Picks, as you said, are not great, but they have so many young players that could, like, manage quickly. Like, they have Obi Toppin, they have Grimes, and also I would love just to switch AJ Barrett and OG Anunoby.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure RJ Barrett is from just outside of Toronto. He's essentially from Toronto. That would be Raptors fans fall in love with that one. RJ hasn't been great this season,
that would be amazing. Yeah, I would love, like, just to switch these players and, like, I'm okay. Like, do it.
I don't know if the Knicks would go that far. If they did, then that is
I know,
more than okay.
I know, but I think everyone in the Knicks are just tired of him not improving at all.
Yeah,
well, the last 3 seasons. But that's what just like what I would like in this point.
I prefer to send him out west from a fan perspective. I don't want to play him 4 times a season. I don't want Siakam and Barnes going up against him 4 times a season. I'll say that. Let's move now into the next player on the list. Another Raptors player. I am going in order just by odds here. Fred VanVleet, minus 400 to get traded. Where do you think Fred VanVleet could end up and why?
That one is even more difficult for me. Like, I just don't know where the fit. Like, I love him as a player, but I don't think I would never want him on my team, and I don't see him fitting with. It's difficult fit. Like, I actually really don't know which team he will fit. Like, I would love to hear your ideas of where he fits, but
well, where he fits makes a bit more sense. If the Pelicans want like an actual point guard to like a scoring point guard to start there, that somewhat makes sense. The easiest fit is definitely the Los Angeles Clippers. The hard part is getting something back to the Raptors that satisfies them from that position. The Clippers makes like a ton of sense to improve there. But like, is a trade package around Terrence Mann really going to thrill the Raptors front office there? I'm not so sure on that side. It's tough.
So if I needed to come up with something, I would say, of course, Clippers. But I like a bit more pass first point guard for them.
Yes, I agree. I agree on that one.
So I don't see the fit either for the Clippers. They need a point guard, but not Fred VanVleet.
Yes, it's tough on this one. I don't know where it fits, but I would predict right now that Fred VanVleet does get traded. I think OG stays. I think Fred is one that is going to get traded. I just don't know where. Let's move into the next one. Mason Plumlee, the Plum Bucket. He's been doing really well with the Hornets. He's minus 280 to be traded. I imagine the Hornets will try to capitalize on some value given how he's been playing. Do you see any good destinations for him?
I love.
Can I give you one? Can I give you one?
Sure.
I think the Denver Nuggets as a backup center. I think that is a good fit here. They have a trade exception in place from the Monte Morris trade that satisfies the salary for Mason Plumlee. I think that this is a solid backup player so that DeAndre Jordan never sees the light of day again. What do you think?
Yeah, obviously I agree with that. Like that's perfect, but didn't like I don't know. Like he's maybe too good to play 10 minutes a game at this point. Like I don't know if he will be satisfied with this after playing 30 minutes and being great.
Yeah.
Like I would love him to be backup center for Denver, but that's like then probably one of the best backup C's in the entire league. Like Denver would
Yeah.
be too good then. Yeah. So this
I
great
suppose.
move, but like eh, I don't know. Like
I don't know how many teams would like how many good teams, with all due respect, Plumlee's playing well. How many good teams would start Mason Plumlee? I don't know. There's really any. I
not
do like
start, but like
this one, Dallas as a secondary playmaker when Luka carried
yeah,
up. I don't dislike that. I think that's solid. I don't know what they have to offer at this point because they gave away quite a bit to get Kyrie Irving, but I don't hate that fit. This is tough. I think he's like too good for a backup. But I don't know if any good team starts him at the
yeah.
C. Um,
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
like the
it's
Raptors,
difficult to move these players. Like, yeah, it's just I don't
the
know.
Raptors need a center, but I wouldn't want to start Mason Plumlee as my center, even with the Raptors
Yeah,
playing
I
so
know
poorly.
another team that needs a center, but it's a similar thing to the Denver Nuggets. It's 76ers. They need like 12 minutes guy to replace Embiid. Like it's unbelievable that Doc Rivers is still playing Montrezl Harrell. Like I had a
He can't
conversation.
play defense. He can't play defense.
So a couple of days ago, I had Embiid bet against the Knicks, and they were up in first quarter, like in 8 minutes. 76ers were up, I think 34-12, like 22 points up. And my friend was saying like he's watching probably this, like he was saying like blowout concerns. And I was like, no worries, we have Doc
Much fair.
Rivers. No worries, we have Doc Rivers. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Montrezl Harrell gets in and like he was minus 15 in 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the greatest thing of this is they end up losing the game. And they lost the game in those 3 minutes that he played Montrezl Harrell. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, Montrezl Harrell is probably the worst defensive bigs in history of the NBA. Like, he just can't. He doesn't have the size or the like positioning or like instincts. Like, just one of the worst defensive. He's not a center actually. We are looking at his size, but he's playing it, and he's the worst at defense. Like I just can't get another guy that's on that level like terrible. And
Yeah.
yeah, they lost the game because they played Harrell for 3 minutes. Amazing.
So Plumlee, tough. He's on an expiring contract though, so I think even if he's too good to be a backup, like I just think the Denver one makes a ton of sense. Me and Javon have agreed on a lot here. Um, but it is tough,
Yeah.
as you said. Let's move into the next player here. If a team needs a shooter, this could be your guy. Gary Trent Jr. minus 250 to get traded on DraftKings. Another player that the Raptors may be looking to move. His contract expiring end of season. He's making $18 million. That's solid. I think that's solid. There could be maybe the purple and gold might be looking his way again. Do you see any good destination for Gary Trent Jr.?
I actually can get to the team that will go for him, but I think he will improve every team that he goes to. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think he will get traded. Like I'm out of all these players, I think he has the most sense to get traded. And only the part that he's young, still young, he's not in his favor. But he had some beefs with Nick Nurse, to say at least, and yeah, I think he gets moved, and I don't know. Like, what do you think of Gary Trent Jr. defense?
It's boomer bust. He is very high risk, high reward, which sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's it's not so great. So
Yeah.
like he really bites hard for steals, and he's quite good at getting steals. But if he doesn't get that steal, then there are some struggles there. So boomer bust is the best way to describe his defense.
Yeah. So I don't know who gets him because he is not 3 and D because D is missing.
Yes,
So
but he's a
he,
lot. I would
but
say he's a little bit better than just like a 3 and D guy on offense. Like he can
yeah,
create his own shot. I
he,
think contenders could really look for a guy like this to come
but
off
I
the
will
bench.
I will have him coming off the bench if he goes to the
Yeah,
contenders.
as a 6 man, he's like a perfect sort of 6 man
True.
player.
So
I
that's what,
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
then if he is from the bench, he fits every team, like every playoff team. Like you have go like Grizzlies, sure. Kings, sure. Clippers, they don't need him. Suns, sure. Mavericks, sure. Like
Oh yeah.
everyone will profit of him having him on the bench. Like even Pelicans, Wolves, like every team on the playoff spot would have like sense to go for Kevin Trent Jr.
I think it'll be a team out of nowhere that comes through and gets Gary for
Yeah,
the reasons
because
that you're
there is
saying
not
there.
like one perfect because everyone could
Yeah,
go for him.
everybody can go for that. All right, let's go to the next player, Bojan Bogdanovic, coming off a couple months now since he signed an extension. I think it's a solid extension. He's making about $20 million a year the next 2 years. Obviously, the Pistons are bad. Bojan's playing very well. Do you see any good destination for him at the deadline? I would, just to start us off, I think it's similar to the Trent thing where he helps a lot of teams. But what do you think?
I think the Lakers like is the perfect spot for him with his
Yeah, I
shooting.
like that.
Yeah, so that's the perfect spot. But Boyan is a better player than Kevin Trent Jr. is, I will
Yeah,
say.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's probably the best player that anyone can get. Like for cheap.
For
Like I
cheap.
won't say he's better than OG, but OG will ask for a huge amount, and he's the best player that you can get for cheap on the deadline.
Yeah,
So like every team that needs shooting, he is great for that team.
yeah, I agree. I think the Lakers' best spot for him, if they can, it's just, do they want to give up one of those picks to get Bojan? It might be
They
worth it,
should.
but
They should.
I understand the reluctance because I don't think they're going far in the playoffs, even with that trade. Let's go to the
Yeah.
next one. This is your guy. I can't believe this guy is still on the Houston Rockets, but Eric Gordon, to this day, is a Houston Rockets player. I'd love to see him on a different team. I'm sure you would as well. Where do you think Eric Gordon fits? Again, another similar 3 and D sort of player, guy who shoots threes, who can land on a bunch of teams.
Yeah, but this is the guy, like difference between Boyan Bogdanovic and Gary Trent Jr. is that you can be like okay with putting the ball in Eric Gordon's hand and let him create his own or for the other players. Like he has 3 assists a game over his career, like as a shooter. Like
Very
he can
good.
create. Like last game he had eight assists. Like he's the guy that can have like these kinds of game. But I hate his like the way Houston Rockets are using him. They are playing him at small forward starter. That's terrible. But if he's your like sixth man or like second guy of the bench, he can be provide amazing value like for any contender that struggle with scoring. And there is just so many teams that he could help. Of course, there are teams that don't need anyone. Like Celtics have like
Yeah, yeah.
Bucks. Bucks could use actually.
I was
Uh,
gonna say Bucks might be a solid
Bucks could
spot.
use it. Like 76ers probably not. Cleveland Cavaliers probably not. Nets probably not. Like all these teams that have like grade 6 and 7 players of the bench, like that have like someone. But the teams that don't have anyone, Gary Gordon is their guy. Like Phoenix Suns is also the one team that can get a bit like with Gary Gordon being like next to the I don't know Shemet and Cameron Payne on the bench. Like that's actually pretty good grade for them, and he will improve their team.
Yeah.
So my best spot for Eric Gordon is Phoenix Suns, but I could see him at the Bucks.
I see a lot of teams here. I think Bucks makes sense. I actually think Cavaliers, if they can get him cheap, it's not a bad idea to throw him as the 3 guy, the 3 in their starting lineup. But
I don't
this,
like that.
you don't like that? Well,
He
I
doesn't.
think
He
there's
doesn't have. He doesn't have size for playing small forward.
that's true.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of teams. This is another guy that just fits in a lot of places, and
Yeah.
it's for the reason you said. The guys who can shoot and play defense, and for this guy, he can do a little bit more. Every team could use a player like that. So let's move to the next one. Tim Hardaway Jr. He has risen up to minus 200 to get traded. I see the Dallas Mavericks struggling to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know if there's a ton of demand for something like that. What do you think about him?
He's similar player to Gavin Trent Jr., but Trent Jr. is better than him, so and younger. So I don't think
Gary Trent's
like
expiring as
him,
well, which Hardaway has got
yeah.
2 more years
So
after this.
yeah, I just think that there won't be many offers, and offers that will be there won't be great. So I think Dallas will actually profit more with staying with him than moving him, because it's just they won't get any value back for him. And if teams decide to go for that player profile, they will go for Gary Trent Jr.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I would have said I
I'm
think he'll
not
stay.
sure if he will. Yeah, I think he stays.
All right, next one is Siakam. We're getting into the positive money territory here. I'll start here because I am a very, very big Pascal Siakam fan, and somebody who might be a bigger Pascal Siakam fan is Masai Ujiri. Masai would have to get the world and more to trade Siakam, and I would like, you can usually piece together all of the reports going around and try and get a good sense of the vibe. And the vibe I'm picking up here is Siakam would like to continue playing for the Raptors. I'm not going to rule it out completely. I think plus 100 is just horrible, and I wish there was a no side to this bet as many others. But I would be shocked if Siakam wasn't a Raptor after tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he stays. That's it. Like, it's simple as that. Like, they decide to blow out everything. Sure, he is going also, but I don't think they can trade Siakam, Van Fleet, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. in one day. And if all these guys, I think Pascal Siakam is the safest one to stay. And
yeah, agree completely there. 2 more players to go, starting with Alec Burks. This is actually the only price that I think might be worth it. It's plus 120 for him to get traded. This is like the only one. This is another guy. It's tough to say a specific team that he could go to. I think there's quite a few teams that could find some value there. I don't think he's going to trade it for a lot. I think it's just like a supplementary piece to your bench. Maybe you have an injury. Maybe you're just a bit of a thin team. Alec Burks could be your guy. What do you think about that?
so I wanted to add him because I don't think people realize how amazing season he is having so far. Like not decent, not good, like amazing season so far. Like, this is the guy that can defend. Like, you can just put him on the players to defend, to lock and trail, to be a point of attack defensive. Like, not amazing, but he can defend. Like, he's shown when he's like zone in that he can provide some defense. And on the offense, I'll just read like per 36 minutes, just so people, because he's playing a low minutes, people don't understand how great he is. So per 36 minutes, he averaged 21 point, 5 rebound, and 4 assists. 21.5 rebounds and 4 assists.
That's
Shooting
very, very good.
43% from 3.
Wow.
And that's on 7.4 attempts a game. That's like if he gets the minutes, that's like borderline all-star numbers. Like, if you like look at the per 36, I would say like that's probably top 40 players in the league. If we compare everyone in the league per 36 minutes, of course he's not capable of playing 36 minutes at this level. But if you need a guy like he can be a starter on a good team, like if you need 3-and-D guy, like in
And
this is not like something crazy because last 2 seasons at the Knicks he also shot over 40% from three. So this is not like one wonder season. Like he is consistently shooting great. He's getting to the line. Or per 36 minutes, he's getting 6 free throws a game. Like he's just so efficient, and he's not a bum on defense. I think like Lakers, if they don't go for Boyan, they need to get Burks. Like he's cheap and he's great. Like
yeah,
amazing.
I just had to look at his contract. It's expiring this season, which I'd say is a plus, and it's $10 million. That is very easy for a team to go pick up. As I said, I think the plus 120 here is like the only person we've listed that has probably some value on that number, even with the inflated prices at DraftKings. I could see the Pistons getting something for him instead of nothing, probably at the end of the season. But you know what? I didn't know Alec Burks. I apologize, Alec Burks. I wasn't familiar with his game like that. Those are some very impressive figures right there. I'll do my best Shaq impression on that one because I think a lot of teams could use this sort of player as well for cheaper than Gary Trent, as you said. All right, final player on the list does not have a price up. Has not had a price up since Dwayne Dedmon got traded to the Spurs because there's suspicion that Pirtle should be on the way out now. It is Jakob Pirtle. He's an expiring contract. If the Spurs don't trade him, I imagine they will get nothing. I think they will try to trade him. And I think there's value here. I think there's a little bit too much. I predict the San Antonio Spurs are visiting the Toronto Raptors to play a game tonight. Jakob Pirtle is not leaving. He is staying in Toronto beyond that game. I think the Raptors are going to make a big push to get him. What do you think is the fate of Jakob Pirtle?
Yeah, I think he's getting moved, but I would love to hear your offer for him.
So the offer being floated around right now, I don't necessarily support this offer, but Javon puts it up here. The Raptors have floated around Gary Trent Jr. and draft compensation to the Spurs for Jakob Pirtle. I don't know if I want to give up that much to get him. Pips dropped out. He'll be back in just a second here. I was in the middle of talking anyway, but Gary Trent Jr., I think a lot of Raptors fans want to keep him because where the Raptors have struggled this season is shooting and shot creation, which Gary Trent brings a lot of. But there could be concerns that Gary Trent leaves at the end of the season for nothing. So that could be a point of interest in terms of trading him. The Spurs have asked for quite a bit here as Pips comes back in here. The Spurs have asked for quite a bit here. I don't want to give up this year's first, and I don't think the Raptors will. But there is definite interest in getting.
So, my concern with this one is, why would they go for Gary Trent Jr. when they have Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson? I don't see the fit for the Gary Trent Jr. because he's similar to the Devin Vassell, and Devin Vassell is showing like that he can be a better version than Gary. Like, I want to see Devin Vassell playing 36 minutes a game next season.
Yeah, I think it's more so they want the salary and they want the draft compensation for Pirtle. So I don't know. I really would not want to give Gary Trent for Pirtle. I think the Raps can do better. If he does come to the Raptors, you have to get an extension right away. I wouldn't leave that up to chance in the offseason, which like the Raptors front office is smart. I don't think they would do that and take such a risk.
We broke the 1 hour stream first time.
Oh wow, look at that. And we'll do the same tomorrow as well on the trade deadline. This is the last player, fortunately, so we are about to wrap up. But do you see any other destination for Jakob Pirtle here?
So many teams will like improve with him, and I don't know. I will say Nets before, but Claxton is playing so great this season. Knicks could also use Jakob because Mitchell Robinson is having injuries all the time.
Good point.
So yeah,
Good point. He'd be
so
great. He'd be
that's
great with the
with
Knicks.
the East. The West is a bit like, I don't know. Clippers have their way with the Zubats, but like they could add like a sub. I don't. I know they want to play small, but like he could be there. I don't know if Suns staying with Aiton. Probably they will, but they could also have some like decent there. Warriors, like if Steph didn't get injured, I actually think he could go to Golden State. Makes sense for me, at least. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Pelicans will be so one team that will be way better with Jacob is Pelicans. The
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
the defense will be so much better, and yeah, I just don't think Jonas is their guy for the future.
I don't know if this is an apples to apples comparison here, but the Raptors, the deadline before they won a championship, they traded Jonas Valanciunas for Marc Gasol. Now, I'm not saying Jakob Poeltl's Marc Gasol, but there's parallels. The high post playmaking, the interior defense. I think there's substance to that, and that could be an area they explore if they choose to move on from JV. And if they do move on from JV, I wonder if the Raptors could be the third team in there and pick up JV again. All these former Raptors players may be coming back to Toronto. I think that's solid. But any final thoughts before we wrap up that segment?
Yeah, I think we will have like a ton of trains in the last couple of hours, but
Yes,
it won't be much tonight or today. Like I don't
I agree.
expect like yeah.
The Raptors play tonight, so I think that's the biggest thing. I think the Raptors will be the thing that unlocks everything, and also the newfound sort of rumors that Kevin Durant may be possibly getting traded is kind of holding teams up. So we'll
Yeah,
react to all. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
KD makes sense. His move makes sense. They were good. They can compete, but I don't think KD is happy with the way the things are going. So his best teammate for now is like Nicholas Claxton and Ben Simmons, and yeah, if
It makes sense.
I actually wouldn't be like against it. Like I won't mind him moving because I understand like this is not the spot to be in these years. Like
It's just so quick, though. That's the only thing that takes me off. I think Summer, yes, but it's so quick to move him right now and get such a good deal, a good trade in return because he's playing so well, right?
yeah, but like if he needs to go somewhere, they also need to give something in that deal. So like you can give a lot of for KD and then be a great team. Like so, I don't like when with competition like being competitive. I don't think he can get to a better spot than he is at the moment. As I said, like if he wants to go to some other team, like if he goes to the Phoenix Suns, they need to give up Aiton or like Chris Paul or both. So I don't think they are a great team when they move these guys. So like
Yeah.
I don't see like it happening, but I won't mind it.
So that is all we have from the trade deadline stuff. We'll be back tomorrow. So we previewed everything, and tomorrow Pips will be on with me on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel to react to everything that does go down. I'll put the link to the Hammer HQ YouTube channel in the YouTube chat right now. You can also go to YouTube and search the Hammer HQ. I'll be live from 2 to 4, reacting to trades as they happen from 2 to about 3:15. Pips will be on with me from 3 to 4. That is the plan. He'll be reacting to the final trades as they process after 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have the aftermath. We'll be discussing everything as it goes down. But make sure to tune in tomorrow to that stream on, again, the Hammer HQ. Josh Goodwin of Raptors Digest should also be joining me for that one. We'll be interacting with chat. We'll be looking at odds, how the future market is affected as a result of all these trades going down, and we hope to see you guys there. But long episode today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, hanging out on the stream. We appreciate all the support. Let's recap today's plays as we look to finish ourselves off here. First of all, Jalen Green over 22.5 points, which is minus 120 at BetMGM as they take on the Kings. Second play, off the board. If you watched it live, you got this one. Pistons at Cavaliers. Jared Allen over 12.5 points Ricky Rubio over 2.5 assists, which is minus 120 at DraftKings. Some questionable players now for the Cavs, which if they don't play, absolute home run play if you got it live. Third one is Buddy Hield over 2.5 threes for the Pacers, taking on the Heat, where we have Tyler Hero going back to Tyler Hero over 19.5 points, which is plus 100 at DraftKings. That has been your show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smash that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel as well for more content like this every weekday. And we hope to see you tomorrow on the Hammer HQ YouTube channel for the live trade deadline watch party. Thank you again, everybody.